Hello, and welcome to Joy and Gratitude. We have another wonderful opportunity to share with you. My name is Queiro, and I'd like to introduce you to my partner in crime, Beth.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. It is Beth Mercurio, and welcome back. We're super excited today to talk about. We don't always have our topics right at hand, right? We sort of see where we're going, but this topic became one that both Neo and I kept talking about, and we decided it was something that we wanted to share and see if it can help others as well. And that is the beautiful topic of slowing down. And I guess part of what I want to talk about is what does it even mean to slow down? And I think
Mm,
one of the really fun kind of, for those of you that can't see me, I'm doing air quotes. One of the fun things you always talk about in corporate, and certainly I have used it a lot in corporate as a saying, and I still do use it very, very frequently with some of my coaching clients, but I think about it a little differently now, and maybe we can use this to spur our conversation, Neo, is this idea of slowing down to speed up.
mm,
And I say that a lot, and it's been said to me a lot, and I never really thought about what it means. But I actually think there's so much
yeah.
in that. So I'm just going to say it again. I'm going to slow us down right here. I'm going to say, let's just think about that phrase, slowing down to speed up.
Well,
Neil, when I say that to you, what does it mean for you when I say that?
it really means something that is special because in this rat race, we continue to be focused on tasks, focus on completions of goals without truly pausing for clarity. You know, if you want to be successful in life in everything, even when you're cooking, you know how you have a recipe and some people follow the recipe and they wonder why the recipe didn't come out right? It's because they never took the pause. They didn't
Mm,
slow down to taste as they went along, to
interesting.
find
Huh.
the clarity. Do I have enough salt? Do I need to add some pepper? Did I add enough butter? We have to experience the moment. And that's
Mm.
why when we slow down to get faster, it's really that checkpoint, right? It's that ability to take stock of the situation and be willing to adjust.
Okay. I'm loving that. This idea of adjustment, right? Because exactly what you're saying, if I think about the rat race, I love that because that's the speed, right? That's the treadmill. We've talked about being on the treadmill and running and always going, 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 going. And slowing down is exactly that. It's a check of like, how am I doing? And am I making the right choices? Because when you just go and you don't stop to adjust, and I love your idea of thinking of a recipe as a great analogy. If you're just all you're thinking about is the end goal and you're not actually checking in along the way, you're missing opportunities to adjust, to adapt, to make a new choice. And I would also say in our world that we talk about, and to rest. So we also know that the pause and the slowing down not only gives us an ability to adapt and make a different choice, but also the ability to just rest, be in the present moment. And we know that rejuvenation comes from taking a deep breath, right? Doing something a little bit different, that you can actually re energize yourself to have more clarity, to create more spaciousness, to enable you to come up with other possibilities or maybe see about doing it a different way or doing it a better way. Uh, Happens when we slow ourselves down. But the reality is slowing down isn't so easy. When you're on that treadmill and you're running, the idea of slowing down makes you think you're not going to get to the end goal like as quickly. But the reality is this slow down to speed up is you may actually get there
Faster.
faster or equally, but with better, better sense, better feeling, not so burnt out if you do take those pauses. And I'm having a really funny visual that I have to share with you right now. Oh my God, it's making me laugh because I really can't stand these people. So I'm I know that sounds terrible, but I am a runner And when I run in a race, like a half marathon, there are people that slow down and they walk and then they run and then they walk and then they run. And I am like, no, you can't stop or slow down. Like you just need to keep running. So I'm having this moment as we're talking because those people drive me bananas because I pass them and then, like, I'm like, "Oh, good, look at me." And then all of a sudden, like, I pass them when they're walking, and then they sprint in front of me. And so the reality is I'm the only reason this visual becomes so pertinent to me, I think, is as much as they were driving me crazy, I mean, the reality is we're ending around the same time.
Mhm.
Right? So, like, what they're doing is working because they're actually getting energy back, they're breathing, they're hydrating, they're doing all the right things that gives them an ability to go way faster than me. Where I'm like plodding along, like trying to lift my legs up, right? And so, in some ways, obviously, they just have a different way of doing it, but it works. And it did get them to the end line around the same time. It wasn't so it's so beautiful. Like if we just give ourselves the permission to slow down and have that be known to be a really positive thing, not something that we shouldn't do, that we should push through, but something that's actually going to enhance our lives and enable us to be more creative, more spacious, adapt, and actually just even feel better along the way instead of just being exhausted all the time.
It's so true, and as you brought up, um, that story, I think of my husband and his driving. So, my husband, had a trucking company for years, you know, so excellent expert driver, the whole thing, but as he's retired, he drives slow now, and it drives me insane. I mean, I am literally, those that can't see us and are hearing us, I'm pulling my hair because he makes me wanna pull my hair. And, he's like that tortoise, steady, da da dum, da dum, da dum, da dum, da dum, and, we're on the highway, and I'm like, "I got to get to the airport today. Today. Not tomorrow, but today. I got to get to the airport."
Ah,
And there's always the car that goes around him, and maybe a mile later, they're pulled over by the cops, and he always says this, "There he goes. He got a certificate of achievement."
oh my
The
gosh.
ticket. He got a
Yes.
certificate
Ah,
of achievement, and then
yes.
immediately I realized what he was saying. It doesn't matter if you go steady, if you take stock of what's going on around you, you're gonna get there. You don't need to run an artificial race on yourself because you're gonna
It's
get there
you're yes, yes.
anyway.
In the right time and in a time that can
Exactly.
feel better. And I will say to you, the driving is so funny. I love this is I love that. And one of the things I was thinking about when I was thinking around what does slowing down look like? Like what could it look like? Do you know that I actually gave myself a little bit of a test? So
Mm.
I went out, I've mentioned, right, runner, woods, people are starting to get to know that that's what I need to actually step back to
Mhm.
pause for myself. And so I was out running in the woods. It was supposed to snow. It turned to rain. Talk about adaptability. I'm like, okay, it's not the beautiful snowfall that I wanted, but that's okay. So I was out there and I was thinking a lot about this. Like, wow, I was so glad that I chose to do it. It was really hard that day for whatever reason to get out. It was like, I just thought, oh, I can just skip it. I don't, what if I don't do it? And I forced myself to say, listen, no, this is intentionality, right? You need to go do this. It always sets you up for a better day, sets you up for more spaciousness and decision making, more clarity, all the things we keep talking about that are so
Mhm.
great. So I was appreciating that. And I was thinking, gosh, this is really amazing. I said, how do I share around the impact of slowing down and how when we slow down, it's almost the opposite of what you think will happen. You think you're gonna, not end up in the same place in the same way. You're not. How can I be more creative just because I slow down? And so, on the way home, I followed the speed limit and it was torture. So I know that sounds funny, but literally when you bring up your husband and how, he goes slow, the reality is I don't think I ever go this speed limit. I don't like when have you ever like looked at the speed limit? It was 20 miles an hour in
My
this zone that
god.
I was in because I was in a state park, right? But there I was in a state park. No one was around, like beautiful long road. And usually I am flying on it to get home, even though I've just slowed down. slowed down in the woods, I'm now like, I got to get to the rest of the things I need to do. And I made myself go the speed limit. So I would encourage and ask and invite our listeners to, at some point in a safe place where you've got a long stretch of road, go the speed limit. And when you're going the speed limit, you will notice you have spaciousness. You'll start to notice the trees around you. Maybe you start to listen to the song that's on the radio. There's all these different things that happen just because you're not already at the next thing. You're not already like, I need to be here so I can be there. You're literally where you are because of the pace. And so I just was trying to think of ways to get people to know what it feels like. And I think that's a good one. And you just
Mhm.
brought it up. It was such a good memory. Go the speed limit. Like, stay at that speed limit and then just start to look around and notice and see what comes up for you when your whole pace is just a little bit slower than what you would naturally go to based on what, how you operate.
No, that is golden. Um, because that's the whole thing of slowing down is you get to see things that you normally would miss. This brings up of how it works in the business world too. So I was in a leadership meeting, and um, the CEO was talking about a hardship that they're trying to get through with the state. And I just saw everybody was so agitated. The energy was more reactive than sitting down and thinking about solutions. Everybody was complaining and complaining.
Mm,
And I literally slowed down and watched the room and was able to
mm,
pick up little things that were actually insightful that people were saying, but because people were talking over them, were being missed. And
beautiful.
and I kept just taking it in and writing them down and writing them down. And after I had my one-on-one with the CEO, and I said, "Can I share with you some insights of what happened in that meeting that you may have missed?" Because there was so much energy. And he said, "Yes." And when we went through that list, he was able to find some solutions to the
Mm,
actual issue. And that's what slowing down in the business setting can give you, is that opportunity to pick up on the gems of people that maybe you thought did not have a gem to give, or that are junior but have some really good insights that are
mm.
often missed because you are on that hamster wheel just moving so fast and you want to get to the next statement. And I find that our meetings are like playing double dutch. Everybody's trying to jump in and see who could stay jumping with both ropes at the
Mm.
same time, instead of maybe pulling a rope out and jumping together at the same tempo to find our way into a nice rhythm.
I first of all, I love that. I just have to tell you that I'm singing in my head right now. Teddy bear, turn around. Teddy bear, touch the
Yeah.
ground. Hoping somebody can picture that. Like, yes, that's
I'm
so
doing
fun. Jumping rope. That is awesome.
Yep.
I agree, and I think it's really that business setting is so clear. But I'm also, as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about even just like with our friends. Like, when you slow your friends down, if
Mhm.
they're, and we know it, right? Somebody's telling you a story about something that's going on in their life, and they're, dysregulated, animated, emotional, all the things, frustrated. There's so many things they are. But speed is part of what you just described in that business setting was like high energy that maybe isn't the most productive
Yeah.
energy because you're almost over your feet in
Mhm.
energy, right? And I would say that can happen for any of us. And when that's happening, having that partner to sort of say, "Hey, is there a different way to look at it?" Or, "Hey, can we just slow down?" Or, "Hey, can we pause?" And I was thinking of another example. I'm trying to think of really, these are just coming up for me, like really palpable examples of when speed just makes you actually slow down. I love the example of getting a speeding ticket, The other thing is one of the things I've noticed is when I'm running late. So when you're running late, right? That like I'm trying. I have a memory of like trying to be in a place to slow down. Like, okay, I know I'm running late, but this frenzy isn't helping me. I knew it. I knew that the frenzy was actually not helping me get ready any quicker. And it was like, and it felt horrible to be like, I'm going to be late. And then, of course, if you think about, I'm sure we can all remember one of these things. And if you haven't experienced this, now tune in and you will experience it. Like, you can't put your necklace on
Mhm.
because you're going so fast that you can't get it, and then you get more upset, right?
Yep.
Or like you can't get the earring in because you can't get your hand to go steady enough.
Yes.
So it's just like really tangible examples of the speed actually making what you want to accomplish harder.
Mhm.
And that slowing down, if you just said, like, "I'm gonna take a deep breath, I'm gonna just put my earring in," you would be able to do it, and you would be moved on to the next thing so much more effectively. But I wanna share just a kind of a quick story because I'm saying this as if I'm really good at slowing down, and I just wanna be clear, even my voice probably just went really fast because 'cause I'm fast, like, so much of my energy is fast that maybe I think it was like 10 years ago, I just mentioned running, and I had just finished a half marathon, and I have these amazing, running, we're called the running girls, and
Mm.
we've done some half marathons together. There's 4 of us, and they are amazing, and we are very close, and you can imagine over the years have shared lots of stories. But we were at a half marathon, and there was like a store, and this was way back when, so you have to picture like well over a decade. We were on Cape Cod, and the signs had just become really popular, wooden signs
Mhm.
that say all sorts of things, right? And I love them. I have one right here. I'm picking up one for people that can't see that says, "Dance like no one is
I
watching."
have that
Like,
one. Ah,
you
that's
do? No,
that's
you
funny.
don't.
I
Are
do.
you kidding?
It's on the other side of the room, but yes.
Okay, not surprising. We continue to connect in magical, incredible ways. But so this is just the idea of that wooden sign with cool sayings. I love them. At the time, they were sort of new. And there was a place where you could make a custom sign. And I was so excited. Like I could choose my own words. This was like, I was so excited. The amazing thing was that long ago, and this is when you know what you don't know is it's like been telling me all this time and I wasn't really quite listening, but I made a sign that says go slow, be present. And I had the sign made and I put it, and it's still there. If I could bring you all with me, I would show you, sort of like on the way out of our house, up above a threshold, like the threshold above a door, says go slow and be present. So I knew that my pace, not only was it not healthy for me, but it wasn't healthy for my family. It wasn't healthy for my children. They have to like move into my space. We know that our bodies, our nervous energy feeds off of other humans, right? So when my energy is all up here, which is a perfect example of your business meeting, when the energy is up here, people meet that energy. Unless somebody can slow down enough, can take enough deep breaths to not match it. It's natural to match nervous energy, but like one person can shift it. You stayed out of that energy. You were able to stay out and say, I'm going to stay back here. I'm not going to join in and be a part of that. So I just kind of wanted to say, I'm making this sound simple. It's not simple. I still read that sign to remind myself every day that going slow and being present allows me to show up in ways where I am more creative. I have more possibility. I can create opportunity. I'm more adaptable. I'm just kind of nicer to be around, to be honest. But I think that I want to just give people examples of tiny little ways. And I don't know, Neo, if you have some, but I love our example of, going the speed limit or taking some deep breaths. But any other things you can think of to share about how to slow down?
So I'm gonna tell you, as you were telling this story, I started thinking about myself and how if you don't start slowing down, your body is gonna slow down for you.
Mm,
The fact of the matter is, your body is going to start breaking down at the more you race. It could be as simple as you end up with knee issues, you end up with
mhm.
hip issues. You find yourself more susceptible to getting colds. Your immune system starts going down. You cannot be in a continuous race. I mean, the best athletes talk about their superpower is their rest intervals in the midst of their journey, to continue their pace and to become great, is what they do in the rest period that is so important. And the rest period is not only the physical rest, which, by the way, is extremely important. Guys, we need to give ourselves rest. And that's either you put it in your calendar so that you force yourself into it, or hey, just go out and do something you enjoy, because rest comes in many ways. Um, but you also have to rest your brain.
I love that.
You have
It's
to
true.
disconnect your brain from the so many things that are expected of us to do. And, you know, for me, it's definitely music. I just tune out, or I go and I start playing. Whatever it is, for me, I just need music to calm my cells down, to calm my brain down, um, and to just celebrate everything around me. It could be walking, it could be anything, but the rest gives you the power to have eyes for reframing your situation.
I think one of the things you said, and I wanna I wanna slow us down to listen to, you said intention. Like, set an intention, put it on the calendar. And I do think write it on a freaking wooden sign.
Mhm.
Whatever it takes for you to say, "This is a priority." Slowing down in order to speed up, in order to make it through to the outcome that I want, right? We're gonna get there, but slowing down is gonna help us get there in a way that takes care of our body, that takes care of our souls, right? And gets us there in the right time, in a time that's healthy, that enables us to have some joy along the way, some of the things you just talked about. So I do think that it would be great. We have to commit to it. So you say to your listeners, like, can you commit to being intentional around slowing down? Around zooming out. We've talked about zooming out, stepping back, not getting tangled up into all of these things, but being intentional around creating space, whatever that looks like, listening to music, going for a walk, like you said. And I think, I mean, really what we want is our listeners to figure out what that is for them. What slows them down? Is it meditation? Is it being mindful? Is it listening to music? Is it journaling? And the idea is you might not know right away. Maybe you don't know exactly like what is the thing that really does let my body sit at ease, let me rest a bit in my brain to rest, my body to rest. Like what does that for me? And I think I would love for our listeners to play with that a little bit. You might not know right away, but test it out. Maybe listen to music. Is it music that really allows you to step away for a while and zoom out, get on that balcony? Is it being out in nature that does that? Is it just sitting with a warm cup of coffee, looking outside? So I would love it. Wouldn't it be fun if we could get everybody to commit to identifying something with intention around slowing down and really taking that rest that we all need so that we can get back at it with the energy that really drives us to where we want the most in life?
So that is the challenge that we're giving to you. Let's all try to identify how we slow down. And to that, I'd like to share my joy notes for today. And I have two wonderful songs. The first one is Slow Dancing with the Moon by Dolly Parton.
Mm.
Now, this is from her 1993 album, and it is a beautiful ballad. Oh, when you listen to this, you will get lost in her words of the value of taking every moment, savoring it, and living it fully. And the second song is one that it's a little obscure. It's called Slow Burn by Kacey Musgraves from 2018. And it's about taking it slow and enjoying the moments of life, but it is a mother singing it to her child and talking about from the beginning of life and how life develops. And she talks about how her example of enjoying and savoring life is an example for that child to develop and value life.
Wow.
So, two very powerful songs that tell us the value of slowing down. And now I hand it over to you. What does our Joy Rocks have to say?
I know. Let's see.
Gratitude Rocks, I'm sorry.
Gratitude rocks. Here it comes. Here we go. We got the big bag. I'm going to reach in. Let's see what today brings to us. Hmm. Today's is believe,
Woo!
which I
Beautiful
love. And
green.
it's
I
like a
love
beautiful
that.
grassy green, really pretty. And I think, again, believe. We have to believe that we can, with intentionality and a commitment to ourselves, slow down. And that when we do, that the outcome will be that much more sweet, that much more joyful, and that we'll actually get to be more present in those incredible moments. So believe in the power of slowing down with us. Join us in that.
And always focus on your joy and gratitude and all these little steps to entangle your life. Today, we slow down.